And there was this permaculturist that decided to go and look for some land. He really wanted to create a paradise away from all the collapse and all the problems in society. And he got really lucky because he found a very interesting landscape that looks like this. So when you look at a piece of land, what are the first things that you think about?
Water catchment.
First landing. In that situation, yeah. Where am I going to crash?
So first thing you look for is sun orientation. Permaculture call it sun sector. In this case, north is that direction. So when you look at any kind of map, first thing you look at is north. Where is north? Because all your design is going to be dependent on that. So Johnny, our permaculturist, was really lucky because he found a south-facing piece of land. Northern hemisphere, okay? Okay, so after we look at the sun, what we look at, usually the wind. So we've got some cold wind from the north. Then we think about water. There are some steep slopes, though, so there's quite a bit of erosion. And a big part of our topsoil, it's ending on the lowest part, which is a little stream that dries in the summer. Guys keeping up?
Yes.
And then he needs to find a place to put up his tent. What do you think is the best place to put his house or his tent?
In the middle, more or less in the middle. In the thermal
Oh, yeah.
belt.
This is usually the best place. How do we call this place? Key point. Very good. So key point is where you have a land that changes from concave to convex. And it's the place where water accumulates the most. Okay? Very often you can see villages on the mountain that are all along this line. That's the place where you find the most water, and that's why the people put their houses there. Once you find the key point, usually you make a line on contour, and that's called the key line. Got it? Good. So Johnny can now put his little house here. So Johnny is getting hungry. What he's going to do next? Make a little vegetable garden. How do we call this in permaculture, vegetable garden? Zone 1. Remember? The things you need the most, closer to the house. And Johnny also has to think about these steep slopes and keep up with his reforestation. So what can Johnny do to prevent erosion?
Swelling systems.
Swale systems.
Trees on the top.
Trees. Gabions.
So, some swales. What else can you do to prevent
Trees on the
erosion?
top.
Terracing.
That's too steep for swale.
It's
Yes.
a lot of work, eh? He's by himself.
John is strong.
The mud, yes.
Okay. So swales, we make them on contour. Really important thing about swales is that they let the water permeate. So it's very important to plant trees on them to hold the bank and for the trees to get the benefit. It's also got these terraces in place. Still having quite some problems with this cold wind, so what he's gonna do?
Barrier.
Plant trees also.
Hedge.
So often in permaculture, this is food forest system, so zone 2, and this is a forest system, which is zone 4. The trees have special properties, this forest up here, which is a natural air conditioning. If it's cold wind, the wind is gonna get warm. If it's warm wind, the wind is gonna get fresh. Got it? Then Johnny is also gonna grow some grains, some large crops, some potatoes, things that you need bigger area. We call that the zone 3. And with this little techniques, is holding a lot more water and is preventing all the erosion from happening. You could also make some lakes here. Always better to hold water as high as possible. Why is that?
Potential.
Potential for
Energy. Yeah.
energy, pressure, using gravity. So always better to have big water structures as high as possible. Then we're getting down here. So what can Johnny do on this area down here?
A little dam.
I could build a dam. So here we're talking about a riparian system, river system. It's really important to recover rivers because most of rivers and streams that we have, they are very degraded. Why is that? Because of margin erosion. So with big rain events, there's a lot of water moving here and is taking the walls of the river. It's taking all the topsoil. So Johnny has to revegetate the river also. What's the benefit of planting these trees here?
Shade.
Creates shade. If there is shade, what happens?
Water, less evaporation.
Less evaporation.
And also your organic matter is dropping and lifting the riverbed, which can induce meandering.
Yes. Very good. What else?
And
Keep the soil, so preventing erosion, holding the banks.
more variety and diversity too.
More diversity, more variety.